Hello everyone, welcome to Subnautica. We are here at the start menu, and I'm going to just show you everything you can possibly need to know in this series about playing this game, progressing, all you can want to do to become a pro. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so here we are, like I said, on the start menu. So what you're going to do, you're coming over here, hit play, and start a new game. Now, for our purposes, we're going to hit survival here, but you could also do freedom, hardcore, creative, whatever you want. Though, pretty much everything I'm showing in this tutorial will not really apply to creative, because you can, as you can see, build anything with no constraints. You don't have to worry about everything, which we are going to be worrying about. So, we'll load it up, and I'm going to skip this animation for now, but if you don't have to skip it, you should watch it, actually, if you have not played the game, I recommend. Right? So once you have, we'll come back here, and you'll see we are now in the escape pod. We've already put out the fire and everything. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to climb. And there we go. That's the Aurora, the ship we crashed on. So I will say, I am not going to be covering much of the story of the game in this tutorial and this series. I'm mainly going to be talking about actual mechanics, how to play the game, etc., etc. So if you want to know the whole lore and everything, check out some other videos. I might make a video at some point about that, so keep an eye out on my channel. Anyway, once you're in here, and you have to get started, right? So this is a survival game. It's all about gathering resources, right? So we're going to swim down here, and see over here, there's already the game giving us some hints. You're going to look for these little rock things that are, you can tell they're jutting out a little bit from the normal texture, and you're going to keep clicking them until they break. Then, it's going to pop out this resource. It might be titanium, might be copper, and I think that's all that comes from. There might be something else that can come from limestone outcrops, but keep an eye out for that. Also, if you notice in our bottom left, the oxygen meter there is going down, so let's make sure we get to the surface before oxygen, before we get the alert, right? Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention before that I should mention is that this tutorial will only be covering PC gameplay. I'm not going to be talking about controls or anything. For consoles, any differences that might apply, none of that. This is going to be strictly PC. So, once we're in here, we got a piece of titanium, right? Which you can, by the way, you can open your inventory here, this PDA, by pressing the tab key on the keyboard, and you'll see what you have. In here, you have your inventory, blueprints, which is basically everything you can craft and know how to craft at the moment. Beacon manager. Right now, our only beacon is the escape pod. Basically, if we swim far enough away from it, you'll see a little thing pops up showing our distance from it, and if we're getting closer or further, right? Just to keep track of where everything is. So, there's beacon manager. There's also a photo manager, which allows you to take photos and view them with the F11 key, like it says, and you can also put those in picture frames. The voice log, which you can see here, is basically just everything the PDA has said to you. You got messages from, all that kind of stuff. There's also the data bank, which shows everything you scanned with the scanner, which we'll get to in a few minutes. Anyway, so we're going to come over here to the fabricator. This is how you craft things. This is a crafting table in Subnautica, essentially. You're going to click it. There's going to be a bunch of categories. Our first thing I recommend you get is a scanner. So we already have one titanium, but we need a battery, right? By the way, the scanner is in personal, tools, and scanner right here, the first thing. You need a battery, right? So how do we craft a battery? Well, we'll come up to resources here, electronics, there's the battery. Acid mushroom and copper ore. So, little pro tip here. Acid mushrooms are everywhere. However, do not be tempted by this and collect all of them. They fill up your inventory fast. We only need 2, so only get 2. Now, we're also going to look for another limestone outcrop because, as you saw, we need copper, which is found in limestone outcrops to get a battery, right? Here's another one. Break it. There you go. Copper. So we'll swim up to the surface here. Back to the escape pod. And we will use the fabricator, resources, electronics. You'll see it's green and blue now, meaning you can craft it. You're going to click it. It's going to start crafting it, right? and you're going to go to Personal, Tools, and you'll see we can craft a scanner now, right? So click the scanner, and here we go. We now have a scanner, our first tool. All right? This is mainly used and mostly important for finding remnants of other things. For example, if we look in here, we'll see a seagull-eyed fragment. Now, every map is built a little differently, so you might not see it. A seagull-eyed fragment, or might see something different, or might not even see this crate at all. But if you see a crate like this and it has a thing in it and it's coming with this circle, you're going to hold right-click, and you see it says scanning, until that little message pops up in the top left corner. Seagull-eyed fragment scan. You can also do this with creatures. I'm going to come to the surface really quick. Make sure I have oxygen. But you can also do this with creatures. So, for example, if I come down here, and I go to this thing right here, this rabbit ray, they're a little harder to do because they're moving, right? And you see, I avoided that. Here's another pro tip. These things, you see that fish squirming down there? They're about the most annoying thing on the planet. If you get a little too close, watch what happens. It comes out, and it starts chasing you. And if it gets close enough, that happens. Now, that is not a problem because it damages your health a little bit. It's not a problem because we have a first aid kit fabricator inside our escape pod. You can see right here, medical kit fabricator. Open and pick up first aid kit. Now, if you go back to your inventory, you'll see this. And we have 60, and this heals 50, which means it would only heal 40 of the 50, and we kind of waste it. So I'm going to save it until we lose a little more health. But the other, let's see, what else is important to build in the beginning? Well, one thing is, if you see everything's damaged here, right? Damaged secondary system, use repair tool, right? Damaged radio, use repair tool. So, come to the fabricator here. How do we make a repair tool? Let's see. Silicon rubber, cave sulfur, and titanium. Now, resources, and we're going to look for silicone rubber here. Creepvine seed clusters. This is not too hard to find. So, if you'll notice, the other really cool thing about Subnautica is its biomes. Right now, we are in the safe shallows. This is a very kind of like medium, not too much worry about. But if you come over here, you'll see these tall strings of kelp. That's where you get the creepvine seed clusters. You're going to come over here, and you see those little bulbs glowing on the trees? And we're going to come over here, and we're going to go right up to it. Watch out for the stalkers there, those big fish. We're going to grab 2. Now, let's make sure we have oxygen. And we're going to head back to the escape pod. As you can see, it's starting to become a little darker. It's heading towards the evening and then night. Night is not pleasant, obviously, as in all survival games. So we could wait it out. If you want, you can wait it out in the escape pod if you don't feel comfortable. I, as someone who's played Subnautica for years now, I will not be waiting it out for this tutorial. Might be a little harder to see a few things, so those things I'll wait. But anyway, when we come up here, we're going to go to basic materials, and we're not going to craft lubricant. Make sure you don't craft lubricant, but silicone rubber, right? Now, we have 2 of these. We only need 1. So, 1. So we will have an extra. Also, as you can see, fins are kind of important too. They will help you move faster in the water. And all your equipment for your body, by the way, is on the right here where it says equipped. You have anything for your head, such as like a rebreather. You have your diving suit or your radiation suit, whatever. Your oxygen tank, which as you can see, if we go into personal and tools again, there's a standard O2 tank. This will basically make your oxygen meter down here, which is sitting at 45 right now. I believe the standard O2 tank bumps it up to 75, and eventually you can get to like 235 or something, so you can stay underwater much longer, especially important when you go deeper, which you will go deeper in this game. Then, for the repair tool, we also needed cave sulfur. So I'm not going to do this at night, but I'll see if I can catch it before it happens. Do you remember those little annoying creatures from before? Well, it turns out, where they sat before, they leave something. Cave sulfur. So yes, you are going to have to agitate them and get them out of there in order to get in. We can also scan these if we want. Sulfur plants. I'm not going to try to scan the crash fish, the thing that flies out of you itself, because that would be stupid. So we have cave sulfur now. So we'll come back up to the escape pod here. And now the game is already warning me what I was about to tell you guys, which is to eat something. So, thankfully, we already have, because this is survival, and the escape pod and everything. If you go to the storage container back here, you click it, you have food and water. And if you click it, it switches containers, right? So let's move all this over here. So as you can see, I'm going to wait. Actually, I think food can go a little over, so I'm going to eat one of these nutrient blocks. I have 29 hunger right now, and this adds 75, bringing it up to 104 there, pushing it over the max a little bit, so I'll have a little more. The water, I'm at a perfect 60, so if I drink both of these, it'll bring me up to 100 there. Nice, right? So, it appears that I also forgot, for the repair tool, though, one of the most important parts, titanium. So, titanium, as I said, you can find in the limestone outcrops, but, really being disoriented by the night here. If you come down and you can look around, you'll see, it's kind of hard to see in the dark here, you'll see these little things. It's called metal salvage. It'll say pick up metal salvage here, right? And they just look like metal scraps on the ground. There'll be like little parts everywhere, right? So you'll pick up metal salvage. Just like the creepvine thing, it takes up a lot of inventory space, right? So, speaking of which, I guess we grabbed 2 creepvine seed clusters, even though we really only needed 1. So we can keep that. If you don't want to store it in your inventory, you can store it in the storage container for now. I'll show you how to make lockers in a future episode, but anyway, if we come back to resources here, basic materials, and titanium, you'll see the crafting recipe for titanium is the metal salvage we have. So we can actually make 4 titanium out of that 1 piece of metal salvage. So we'll make it, come over here to personal, tools, and now we can make this repair tool. So we'll craft it, and here we go. We have another tool, a repair tool here. So let's go. Secondary systems. Hold right click, and you'll see, let the magic happen, right? And then the lights will turn on. Not everything's fixed yet. We still got to repair the radio. Let's do that. And click to play the message on the radio. Now, I don't know if you guys can hear this. I don't know if this is picking up audio. Again, I'm not going to get too deep into the lore. This radio is all about lore. All about the different missions you can do. I'll show you how to do some of the missions because they are important for the like progressing in the game. But I'm not gonna totally like get into the lore and everything. So, with that being said, we can also look at tools we have here. None of this stuff is too important at the moment. A survival knife you don't really need for anything. Habitat builders for the future. What we can craft, though, with the other 3 titanium we have here, standard O2 tank, which, as you can see, will automatically equip, boosting our oxygen from 45 to 75. We've also unlocked a crafting recipe for a high-capacity O2 tank. A little harder to build. I'll show you how to get that stuff in the future. But with that being said, I believe that is just about going to wrap up this episode. We can also pick up this fire extinguisher. That's just about going to wrap up the first episode of this series. Basically, the basics and eventually complexities of Subnautica. That feels a little weird to say, but yeah, with that being said, that's about just going to wrap this up. So I hope to see you all in the next one. Hope you all learned something, and goodbye.